Hi, good afternoon. I'm Steve Hanham, the PSN Operations Manager, and I'm delighted to be joined by John Penquet from the Ultimate Property Dashboard. John is going to be talking at our next PSN event at the Northwest, which is on Thursday, the 22nd of February. It's 1 week today when we're recording this, and the event is held at the Doubletree by Hilton. So I'd like to invite John just to mention a few words, what he's going to be speaking about. It's a little bit different for a PSN event. It's more of an IT base, but I'll let John tell you what he'll be talking about and a little bit of an introduction about his background.
Thank you, Steve. Real pleasure to be joining everybody on the 22nd. Bit about me, I'm a landlord, I'm a property investor. Been a property investor for around about 20 years. I've been a landlord for roughly half that, maybe a little bit more. And I've got a mixed portfolio, so I've got a number of different properties in my portfolio. And one of my biggest frustrations when I've been investing, or one of my biggest frustrations was not really having any good data, good information about an area or a property strategy within an area. So over the past few years, I've been working to try and address that and help property investors to get really good insights into what they're buying and where they're buying, so that they know whether it's going to work well or very well or not so well at all. And that's where Ultimate Property Dashboard comes in, and that's something that I'm going to be hopefully given an opportunity to show to everybody and show how you can use it in your property journey.
Yeah, no, so obviously we've spoke about this before, and it looks obviously very interesting, because they often say, like, a lot of the sort of property training is about sort of focus on your gold mine area, and to make your gold mine area your whole local area because you know it. Whereas obviously your platform, with the information that it shares and everything else, you don't have to have that local common knowledge for the area.
Absolutely. I've worked with literally hundreds of people now, and people are always surprised. Even like I'm still surprised in my areas where I invest. Sometimes an area will start to slow down, or it will be working so well, and another area will emerge that's working better for what I'm strategically doing. Normally they're pretty close to one another, but it's just having that knowledge and that insight. People always assume that everywhere performs the same, so they assume that like a whole city or a whole region will perform the same. It doesn't. We all know this, but we know retrospectively, we see afterwards that it's happened. What I'd like us all to do as property investors is to take all of the skills that we've got, our procurement skills, our negotiating skills, our strategic skills, and add in insights. Because if you've got insight into an area, then you can get an awful lot more, even if it's just giving reports to an estate agent to negotiate a better price, or even if it's just meeting up with a valuer and explaining to them why you put that valuation on a mortgage application. All those things, in my view, are better served with facts. It's easy to ask for money off. It's better to say it should have money off in the case of negotiating property deals. And I prefer to do that with data. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to show you how I do that with data on Thursday.
Excellent. I mean, they do say data is sort of knowledge, isn't it? And sort of knowledge is power, and having the right information at the right time, and obviously what your system can obviously do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Is there anything else?
I just want to be able to press a button and get a report and go and give it to an estate agent. I know people talk about data. People talk about me as being the guy who's got this obsession with data. I don't really like spreadsheets. All right? I'll be honest. They're not my cup of tea. I can use them. I'm quite proficient in a number of different things, Excel, but I don't enjoy it. It's not my passion. Right? It's a tool. It's like, I'm not very passionate about the tools to work on my car, but I like classic cars. So I quite like the classic car, and I need the tool to enjoy the classic car. And that's really how I treat data, and particularly spreadsheets, Excel, that sort of stuff. So quite often people assume that to do good data analysis and good area research, you need to be really good at Excel or really good at data. And the truth is you don't, because you don't need to be good at data. You need to be good at turning data into insights and then using them to help you. So that's hopefully something that we'll be able to run through and get a really good understanding of on Thursday, is that actually simplify the whole thing and make it and make it really easy for you to just go and do the things that you're good at as a property investor. Best example, Steve, is demand. Right? People assume that they know what the demand is in an area, but when you actually ask them, how do you know that there's demand for what you're creating, or maybe there's not demand for what you're buying? How do you know, and how do you measure, and how do you use that for influence? So, if a property is not in demand, you might have a motivated seller, you might be able to get a better deal. If a property is in demand, you might be able to add more value to it, do more momentum. So it's really understanding those things, and that applies to residential and commercial property, whatever it is you're doing. Demand can be really complicated to work out, or it can be really simple and at a touch of a button. And that, again, I'd like to hopefully be able to pass that on to everybody as well when we meet on Thursday.
Yes.
There's a lot of things I'm hopeful about.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very determined to tell everybody about this and share it with everyone. So yeah, I'm using the word hopeful, it's actually going to happen. It's down to the audience really, if they want to use it. It's always an option, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously the more people that use it, the more sort of feedback that you get about the system, and the more developments you can bring into it. So yeah, so no, really looking forward to it. So if you want to hear more about the presentation from John from the Ultimate Property Dashboard, then please join us next week at the PSN Northwest February 2024 event. It's on the 22nd of February. Doors open at 6 p.m. for a 6:30 start, and it's held at the Manchester Doubletree Piccadilly, which is just opposite Manchester Central train station. So, and tickets can be booked at www.thepsn.co.uk. So, thank you very much, John, for taking the time out to let everyone know what your presentation is going to be about on the night, and we'll see you next week.
Brilliant. Thank you, Steve, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week. See you all soon.
Okay. Thank you very much, John.
Cheers.